am Dr. Michael Cairo, Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the University, and it's my honor to welcome you to our 2019 Academic Convocation, a time to celebrate a new academic year. It is now my pleasure to invite Reverend Emily Miller, Director of Spirituality and Religious Life, to come to the podium to offer our invocation.
Please join me as you're able. Wise and wondrous God, known by many names, heard in many voices, we invite your presence with us this day. From art to chemistry, from history to education, today we celebrate the accomplishments of those who have gone above and beyond as students and community members here at Transylvania University. Bless the work that they have done thus far and the accomplishments that we know we will be excited by in the future. We particularly acknowledge those who have supported their road, parents, caregivers, professors, and mentors, for we know that it indeed takes a village. We thank you for the focus that our institution places on involvement, that our students are well-rounded, whole, and able to focus on their own accomplishments while setting sights on the community around them. Help us to be mindful of those who have gone before us and those who will come after. And may the work of our hands continue to be joyful, innovative, and bold. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Miller. Academic Convocation is a very special occasion at Transylvania University. This ceremony is a time to renew our commitment to lifelong learning, gives us an opportunity to focus on the journey before us, and allows us to reflect on what we strive to achieve during this year. We also have an opportunity to celebrate our successes with the presentation of 28 university awards to outstanding students. Most importantly, this is time to come together as a community to affirm our mission and the values of a liberal education in today's complex and global society. And now it is my privilege to introduce the platform party. I ask each individual to please stand and remain standing when I call your name. Please hold your applause until the end of the introductions. Dr. John Williams, Interim President of Transylvania University. Mr. Jim Gray, former Mayor of Lexington and our keynote speaker. Dr. Sarah Bray, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professor of Biology. Reverend Emily Miller, Director of Spirituality and Religious Life. Dr. Ava Shuhai, Professor of Chemistry. Dr. Tiffany Wheeler, Associate Professor of Education. And representing our academic leadership are the chairs of the academic divisions. Professor Ellen Cox, Chair, Division of Humanities. Professor James Wagner, Chair, Division of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Professor Alan Bartley, Chair, Division of Social Sciences. Thank you. Please be seated. It is my honor to recognize our respected members of the Board of Trustees and thank them for their support of the university. I would also like to recognize members of the President's Cabinet for their leadership and thank them for being with us today. Transylvania University is fortunate to have an outstanding faculty who lead students in their pursuit of lifelong learning. Students and alumni consistently praise faculty members and identify them as the reason they attend and stay at Transylvania. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to our academic mission. Will the faculty please stand and be recognized? It is now my pleasure to invite President Williams to the podium.
Good afternoon. This is a wonderful day, right? Yeah, everyone's asleep out there. I want to welcome you to the 2019 Academic Convocation that formally kicks off, as Dean Cairo said, our commitment to academic excellence and continuing a great historic tradition here at Transylvania University. It's indeed an honor I've been in this position now a little over a month, so I'm finding out where to park and all those kinds of things like those of you who may be first-year students are learning how to do coming to Lexington for the first time. And it's a great time to be here in Lexington on this campus because of the opportunities that you have before you. And I encourage all of our students to embrace those opportunities and to take advantage of where you see your opportunity for growth, for development, through the arts, through the humanities, through the social sciences, and through the biological sciences as well. So it's indeed a very, very exciting time as we kick off the fall semester. I also want to recognize a former president and first lady of this university, Dr. Charles Scheer, and his wife Susan are with us today. Please stand to be recognized. I've had the privilege of knowing the Scheers for many, many years, and it's a delight to have you with us, and I know, Charlie, you'll be doing some additional activity with us here in the program as well. It's now my opportunity to introduce our convocation speaker this afternoon, Mr. James Gray. As mayor of Lexington for 2 terms, I understand, Mr. Mayor, Jim Gray led the city through an exciting era of growth and creativity, drawing from both his love of the region and his experience as CEO of international design-build firm Gray Construction. His administration focused on the revitalization of downtown, financial reform, and a commitment to public safety that has helped make Lexington one of the safest cities of its size anywhere in the country. He holds a baccalaureate degree from Vanderbilt University. I've heard of that place. Is that accredited? I have some family members who are Vanderbilt grads, and was appointed Loeb Fellow at Harvard University for his involvement in civic life. He currently serves as chairman of the board of Gray Construction. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Gray as our convocation speaker.
Thank you, President Williams. And I guess I should say, Lucy, welcome to both of you to Lexington. I used to do that with authority. Now, since I'm a former mayor, I can just say it as a citizen. And President and Mrs. Scheer, it's great to see you all. Dr. Young, great to see you. It is always an honor to visit this campus, to be here with students and faculty and staff and trustees who have provided extraordinary stewardship to this institution for almost 240 years. My friends John and Donna Hall told me yesterday that they were going to be here. I thank you for being here today and for being my friends through thick and thin, and for being wonderful friends as John as a trustee and Donna as an ally of this institution for many years. Transylvania University means a lot to my family and me. My mother was a graduate, my brother went here, and I've lived in the shadow of Transylvania over here in Gratz Park, just over there, ever since I moved to Lexington almost 30 years ago. I appreciate the students, the faculty, and the entire Transylvania community for taking on the subject of resilience this year, the theme of resilience. In a changing and unpredictable world, resilience is a quality we need to do all we can to cultivate in ourselves and in our communities. My remarks today are not from any speech in a box. They're not canned. They will not start with the 5 B's of public speaking. Be brief, brother, be brief. or describe the 3 C's of success: courage, competence, and character that I've introduced before. No, they are today more personal and tougher, frankly, recognizing there's really no perfect formula or template for developing strength and resilience. It's a personal journey. And if we are lucky, we are always encountering the next chapter or challenge and resilience. I suppose my friend Dean Michael Cairo and the committee which invited me today feels that I may be qualified to talk about resilience in part because I have run for public office 6 times, in fact. Batting average, 500. Not bad. You win some, but not always. But like in business and sports and life, you've got to be willing to swing at the ball. I can tell you that winning is more fun, of course. You know that. In politics, you actually get to do public policy when you win. And if you have any sort of a vision at all, you get to work hard to implement it. But there are valuable experiences and lessons in coming up short, too. And one of them, for me, was that I could endure the outcome of coming up short, the disappointment and the frustration, the public nature of asking for the votes of your fellow citizens and having a majority of them choose somebody else. And that whole process is public. You know, when you apply for a job as a software designer or an accountant or a pastry chef, when you find out you don't get the job, well, you don't have to give a concession speech on TV. It's a blow, of course, but I learned it's one that I could handle. Others before me have handled, and if need be, each of you as students can handle as well. One of the principles that applies here is expressed beautifully by the late Eleanor Roosevelt. She does not use the word resilience, but she speaks to the same idea. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Good advice. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. A lesson I've learned over the years is that you cannot control what people will say about you. And you may not be able to shut out cruel voices, but only you get to decide what they mean to you. How much you let in, how much you let those voices define your estimation of yourself. The voice that matters most is your own. Remember, 99% of the time, 99% of the people are thinking about one thing: themselves. Of course, there's a balance to strike as well. Learning to be resilient is like learning to be a good cook or to play sports or to write code. It's a skill, and it's one we build over time. We need help doing it, and that means guidance and feedback, sometimes uncomfortable feedback from people we trust and admire. One of my role models was my late grandfather. His name was C.C. Howard. He was a World War I veteran. He was a doctor, and he helped found a series of hospitals throughout rural Kentucky, and he helped found the UK Medical School. If I got too cocky or would not listen to my grandfather, he would say, "Jim, you're being a jackass. Now stop it." That's when I knew I had gone too far. Another role model was his sister, my great-aunt Bess. Aunt Bess was a tiny but determined woman who was a public school teacher and a Sunday school teacher. She too was a role model for resilience. Aunt Bess was among the first women in U.S. history to actually help elect herself to public office. Now, what do I mean by that? She began a long career as Barron County's county court clerk in 1920. Which was the first year women got the right to vote, 1920. She modernized the clerk's office, and she beat every opponent who tried to replace her for more than 30 years. The man who finally defeated her in 1952 campaigned for change, saying, "If you elect Bess Howard one more time, she will have served for 33 years, longer than Jesus Christ walked on the face of the earth." After that election, Aunt Bess said that I prayed to the Lord that if He would let me cry all night, I would never cry again. And she never cried again. Another example of resilience is my brother Howard. He is a Transylvania. He's not an alum. He was here for 2 years, but he considers himself one. Howard has fought MS valiantly for more than 35 years. And he has demonstrated remarkable resilience, as has his wife Cassandra, who has helped him through it every step of the way. I get inspiration from them, just like I did from my late friend and a local artist, Louis Bickett. Louis had ALS, and Louis was remarkably resilient himself. He continued creating art until almost the very last day of his life. For all of us, resilience is really personal, and it relates to our own experiences. I have the greatest respect for people I've known who have experienced trauma and found ways to move forward. Combat veterans, those who struggled in abusive homes, lost jobs and were homeless, or experienced chronic illness. They are all a testament to the power of the human spirit and to the reality that building resilience can be a lifelong process and one that often involves asking for help when you need it. I was lucky to have lots of help with some of the challenges of my early life, although there was one I largely faced alone. I grew up in Glasgow, in small town south central Kentucky. My family owned a small business there. An early challenge I faced was my father's untimely death at only 54 from lung cancer. I was just 19. That forced my brother Howard and me, along with our mother, to work together to keep the family business alive. 7 years after Dad died, we were insolvent, on the edge of bankruptcy. But fortunately, we turned things around and survived. Yet the biggest challenge I faced goes back many years ago to a day when I was about 14. I went to the Glasgow Public Library to look up a word that I had heard expressed in really disparaging terms. A word I thought I might need to learn more about. Why? Because I was terribly afraid that that word might apply to me. And that word was gay. I went that day to the most hidden spot I could find in our little library. And I looked through books and articles on human behavior and human sexuality. I learned that I was not the only person that felt that way, even though this subject was simply not discussed in my world. Now, some sources I discovered that day, like the Kinsey Report, described being gay as part of the human spectrum. But there were other sources that painted a far different picture. There were stories of young people who had grown up in loving families, but had been disowned by those families when their son or daughter came out. Other families sought therapies for their children, or drugs that included Thorazine, a potent antipsychotic with a host of side effects. Some even tried lobotomies and involuntary electroshock therapy. It was, of course, mostly hocus pocus, but I didn't see it that way then. No, in fact, reading those stories then just cemented a sense of fear that created a determination in me to keep this fundamental aspect of who I was very private. I kept it private for more than 30 years. 30 years of anxiously wondering whether my family, friends, or business associates would run in the other direction, and wondering if public service, which my family had taught me was both important and meaningful, would ever be possible. Yet I also started realizing, as a fellow mayor and today presidential candidate, Pete Buttigieg says, if my being gay was a choice, it was a choice that was made far, far above my pay grade. But at that time, partly to compartmentalize, I devoted myself to the task of building our family business, which I felt very passionate about. Routinely working 60 hours or more a week, I traveled all the time, going to Japan dozens of times over the years to secure customers. On those trips, I picked up a few Japanese words and concepts. One of them was gammon. In Japan, gammon is a key cultural concept. One author defined it as a term that comes from Zen Buddhism that means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. Now that's resilience by any other name. For me, those trips, that work, the growth of the business, the passage of time, the support and guidance of friends, mentors, and role models helped me to believe in myself, in my ability to work through challenges, to gammon. And eventually, I realized that I had to develop the courage to be straightforward, to be real with my family and friends and others, and with the public, whose votes I thought I might be asking for sometime in the future. So in 2005, now 14 years ago, I reached out to the Herald-Leader, the local newspaper, and said I wanted to share my story before I ran for city council. I did an interview with the paper. And in the lead up to that interview, while many of my friends and relatives knew my story by then, I contacted some who didn't, and I told them. Some asked me why I needed to come out at all. Whose business is it? In a sense, saying, just stay in the back of the bus quietly. But others were encouraging. It was perhaps the hardest thing I ever did, but I went ahead with the interview. Then the article ran, and while there was some pushback, the overall response was favorable. I was elected to the city council, in fact, got the most votes and was elected vice mayor in 2006. And in 2010, I became Kentucky's first openly gay mayor. I was reelected in 2014, and in 2016, I ran for the U.S. Senate against Senator Rand Paul. I did not win. But more than 800,000 Kentuckians in counties all over the state cast a vote for me. And that was more votes than anyone running in our party statewide had earned in almost a decade. And my being gay was rarely an issue, except in moments like when an elderly man in Henderson said that he would pray for me, but that I was not going to make it to heaven. And then when just the opposite happened, a young man, maybe 21, walked up to me outside a coffee shop in Louisville, reached out to shake my hand and said, "Thank you for running. I'm gay too. It means a lot." I've had interactions like the last one many times in my campaigns and in public office. And in the campaigns, even if I didn't win those races, it made me know I'd done the right thing. Now, the upshot of all this is that I want to encourage you to take on big challenges, even the ones that scare you. No, perhaps especially the ones that scare you. Swing at the ball and prepare yourselves for those challenges by cultivating the support of friends, allies, and mentors. It's also essential that you serve as friends, allies, and mentors to others as well. The energy you invest in developing your own resilience is remarkably worthwhile, and it will pay off in many ways, in surprising ways, including the very predictable chance that your resilience will inspire others to find resilience and growth in themselves. Thank you all very much. And now on to these awards.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. And now I'm pleased to recognize current students who are recipients of our university awards. I ask each student to come forward when your name is called. We will start with the Dean's Purchase Award. Beginning in 2001, the academic dean has selected a piece of artwork from Moreland Gallery's juried student exhibition to purchase and add to the university's permanent collection. The honor of being included in the university's permanent collection is given to an artwork of superior creative and technical accomplishment. The recipient of the Dean's Purchase Award is Lauren Nunn for her untitled direct engraving onto scratchboard. Next is the Thomas Jefferson Scholarship, which is awarded to a political science and/or history major with aspirations of attending law school upon graduation. The award was made possible by a donation from Desiree L. Franklin to encourage the study of law, particularly constitutional law. The recipient of this scholarship is Isaac Settle. Our next awards will be presented by Dr. Sarah Bray.
Thank you, Dean Cairo. I'm honored to present the Stephen Austin Award. The Stephen Austin Award is conferred upon a first-year student who has completed at least 4 course units as a full-time student and has the highest cumulative grade point average in courses taken at Transylvania University. This year, 9 students are recipients of the Stephen Austin Award. Jacob Burnham, Ben Gallenstein, Charisma Keaton, Taylor Keelman, Michael Klein, Naya Madison, Grace Morrison, Tatiana Versweivil, Sarah Weibark, It is my pleasure to present the Henry Clay Award. The Henry Clay Award is conferred upon a sophomore student who has completed at least 12 course units as a full-time student and has the highest cumulative grade point average in courses taken at Transylvania University. The following students are recipients of the Henry Clay Award: Grayson Briggs, Zachary Iserman, Allie Ford, Zachary Hall, Sydney Klingensmith, Savannah Lambert, Alexandra Miller, and lastly, the Junior Class Award. The Junior Class Award is conferred upon a junior student who has completed at least 12 course units as a full-time student and has the highest cumulative grade point average in courses taken at Transylvania University. The following 5 students are recipients of the Junior Class Award: Sarah Badarian, Rachel Fine, Rebecca Fine, Sarah Hall, Ruby Smith, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Ava Shuhai, Professor of Chemistry and Program Director, to present our next award.
The American Chemical Society's Division of Organic Chemistry and the Joint Polymer Education Committee presents the Polymer Education Undergraduate Award to a chemistry or biochemistry major for outstanding performance in the first 2 semesters of organic chemistry, as long as they have some plans to actually work in chemistry or biochemistry. This year's recipient is Joanna Rosenberger, who is not only an excellent student in class and lab, but is also mover and shaker president of the Transylvania Chemical Society. Our other award is from the Chemical Rubber Company, whose first-year Chemistry Achievement Award is presented by the CRC Press in recognition of outstanding achievement in general chemistry by a first-year student. The recipient receives a scroll and the highly valuable newest edition of the CRC Handbook of Chemistry and Physics. Many good uses for the book. This year's recipient is Miranda McCormick, who is, again, not only an excellent student in class and lab, but is one of our select crew who helps prepare our chemistry labs. She works with us in the building. Congratulations. And it is my pleasure to present Dr. Tiffany Wheeler, Associate Professor of Education.
The Ronald F. Whitson Award is given in recognition of Ron Whitson's steadfast commitment to teaching and to the Transylvania community. This award is given to an education student who possesses the qualities that marked Ron's exemplary career: patience, perseverance, a strong commitment to teaching, and loyalty to the university. This year's recipient is Charlie Jordan. Good job, Charlie. It is my pleasure to reintroduce Dean Michael Cairo.
Thank you for that lovely applause. Our final student award today is the Distinguished Charles and Susan Shear Scholarship. This scholarship is awarded annually to rising senior students who have an outstanding record of academic accomplishment and have made significant contributions to the university. This scholarship was established by the Transylvania Board of Trustees in honor of President Shear and his wife after nearly 3 decades of dedication to Transy. Upon establishing the award, the chairman of the board stated, "This prestigious scholarship program will ensure that their legacy lives on, while also benefiting some of our best and brightest students in the future." Here today to congratulate the scholarship recipients is President Charles Shear. Would Dr. Shear please come forward? Our 2 recipients of this award are exceptional students who have demonstrated outstanding academic performance, impressive leadership qualities, significant campus contributions, and tremendous strength of character. The first is Meredith Mason. Meredith was described as an outstanding student whose combination of intellectual and interpersonal skills, discipline and dedication, ambition and clear career goals make her an asset to our campus community. She is a talented and compassionate leader who engages in significant outreach to incoming first-year students. One student remarked that Meredith has been the perfect example to follow in every aspect of life. Our second recipient is Diaka Savanye. Diaka demonstrates incredible passion, tremendous care, and an inquisitive nature that improves our Transylvania community. In class, she is an exceptional student and submits consistently strong work. Outside of the classroom, Diaka stands out as a highly regarded and justice-driven student leader. Through her experiences and her willingness to share and be an active participant in our community, Diaka models the type of behavior we all hope to see in the liberal arts. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you, Dr. Shear. Congratulations again to all of our Student Award recipients. We are extremely proud of your accomplishments, and we thank you for your outstanding contributions to the community. And now, please welcome the Transylvania University Choir and Transylvania University Singers, led by Dr. Regan McNay, Director of Choral Activities. They will lead us in singing Hail Transylvania. The words to our alma mater may be found in your program. Please stand if you are able. Thank you to our Transylvania University. Thank you to our Transylvania University Choir, Transylvania University Singers, and to Dr. McNay. Please be seated. As Mr. Gray said, the university theme for this year is resilience. Resilience is the most persistent kind of strength because it is tied to creativity, responsiveness to context, and humility. In light of unprecedented changes in our climate and challenges to our core democratic ideals, resilience will help us withstand difficult challenges. More constructively, we can think of resilience as the essential quality needed to cooperate, to find communal balance among ourselves and within the vast and beautiful web of life. Throughout the year, we will have a number of lectures and events tied to this theme. We hope you will attend as many as you are able. As part of this theme, I challenge you to embrace the values that embody Transylvania University: independent thinking, open-mindedness, creative expression, and commitment to lifelong learning and social responsibility. I encourage you to stay engaged and try new experiences. Do not let perceived failures get in the way of your personal and academic growth. Be strong and reach out to others when you need support, and be sure to offer encouragement when others need it as well. Before we conclude, please join me in expressing appreciation to Associate Dean Bray and Cindy Wittry for coordinating today's event. I also offer special thanks to Dr. Ben Hawkins, Professor of Music and Conductor, and to the University Band. Finally, I would like to thank our First Engagement scholars who assisted us today. This concludes Transylvania University's 2019 Academic Convocation. Please remain seated until the recessional is complete. Let's work together to make this an exciting and successful academic year.